show?
Yeah, I just started actually watching it the other day.
For the first time?
Yeah, for the first time.
Holy crap,
it's
dude.
just like, okay, I consider myself a geek, but I've never watched Game of Thrones because I'm waiting for it to be done, and then I want to get into it all and just kind of binge the whole thing as much as I can. And everyone tells me that I'm so stupid for doing that.
I can't imagine. I watched Breaking Bad after it was over. So all of the episodes were available when we started watching it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine watching that while it was on. The cliffhangers at the end of those seasons would have killed me.
Yeah, so that's why I started this. I think it was yesterday, actually. Might even watch some more today. But yeah, I had to quit Instagram because I was getting a whole lot of hate mail and stuff like that, you know.
What?
Doing a podcast and yeah, exactly. Doing a podcast. It's a geek culture podcast, and they said I wasn't geek enough to do the podcast.
Oh, we're not going there.
You know, and that's the thing. They said that you have to be a true geek in order to do this. And then they said that because I do not hold a Klingon religion, that I cannot do a geek podcast either. But anyway,
no, we're not even going there. I'm not touching that.
So is that it?
Is that? Say it again. We both fucking did it at the same time.
So is that it?
Okay, cool.
All right. I think you.
We got to remember that, dude. We have to remember to re-say whatever the other one talks over, because I can't just. That's the only downside to not being able to edit them by channel. Is that I could silence one of us when we talk over one another.
All right. Yeah. I thought that was. I was thinking about how I was going to do the show entry today, and I thought that was a kind of cool one. It's definitely relevant to what's going on.
Well, it is, and we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the other people who've had issues later on in the show. And we're definitely going to talk about Ruby Rose.
Yep.
On our, I guess I can announce it. We're going to do a Arrowverse podcast.
Yeah.
James and I are called Into the Arrowverse, where we're going to be covering everything in that world, the CW world. So we're going to talk about Ruby Rose and the crossover. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of news that came out this week as well. So once he's done with his world tour and we get him back in front of the microphone, we'll be able to get that going. But that's why you won't hear too much Arrowverse news on this episode, even though there has been quite a bit. We're saving that for that show.
Yeah, there's a couple things, but we got a couple actresses that we're going to quickly hit over. One of them is our beloved Kelly Marie Tran. That's going to be coming up later on in the show.
Yeah.
What was that, dude?
Let's that was the dog
going crazy. All right, it sounded like somebody was playing drums.
No, that was her tail against all those boxes I showed you earlier. Because Becky was getting her a treat from the top of the fridge, and she was banging her tail on all of the boxes.
Oh, that's cute.
This is a shit show, is what this is.
That's too funny.
Anyhow, let's talk about the elephant in the room first, and we got to talk about James Gunn.
Yeah, we definitely do. James Gunn, it's official, will not be coming back into Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Completely dropped from Disney, and Marvel has given their seal of approval.
Yeah, there were, I swear the rumors changed almost every day until they finalized this, but he was in exit negotiations with Disney for a while, and there was some rumors that he might be able to work out staying attached to the project in some way, you know, even as a producer, writer, who knows. But that didn't pan out, and he is done with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, it seems that way. Absolutely.
Now, he does have, before all this broke, it broke a couple days before Comic-Con, his whole story. We're not going to get into that. Everybody knows what happened there with the tweets. But one of the things he was going to talk about at San Diego Comic-Con was this horror movie that he has coming out November 30th.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to know what it's about, what it's called, to what extent James Gunn is involved, whether he produced it, wrote it, directed it. Nobody knows. Obviously, he didn't make any of those announcements at Comic-Con because he pulled out of Comic-Con when the news broke about the tweets and the Disney fiasco. He pulled out of Comic-Con altogether. The other thing that's kind of interesting is that Guardians 3 was supposed to start production relatively soon. This is obviously going to push back the release date. As a matter of fact, the Guardians production crew, according to Hollywood Reporter, the pre-production crews have been set free to seek other employment.
Yeah.
So they are definitely nowhere near getting this going again.
No, this is one of those things. They're basically completely shutting everything down while they figure out exactly what the future of this is going to be.
Well, yeah, they've got, if they're not using Gunn's script, they've got no script.
Yeah.
They've got no director. And it was supposed to be released in 2020. I don't.
And it kind of.
If they are going to get that done in 2020,
one of the things
I don't see how.
I don't see how either, because we're really pushing the limit on this year, which means that they're only going to have next year to actually produce this movie, and give about 6 months for editing, maybe a year, depending upon the special effects needed. But the thing that I don't understand, I don't think many of these actors want to stick around anymore. People like Dave Bautista are really cracking down against Disney and Marvel about their decision.
They are, but I don't see any of them pulling out. They would be breaching contracts themselves. They would be giving up a ton of money.
Yeah, true.
And I understand that they want to stand by their friend, but nobody is going to blame them for sticking with that franchise. Well,
the good news is we're going to have most likely next year another movie with them. So that will be coming out next year. I'm under the impression that almost everybody will be returning for Infinity War 2 in one way or another. So we will get the Guardians back. It's just a matter of the future of the series. We're going to have to keep our eyes open and see exactly what's going to be going on.
Yeah. A lot of reports of Warner Brothers being interested about James Gunn as well. So we may see him attached to a Worlds of DC movie.
I hope so.
Down the line.
I hope
that would be the biggest FU he could possibly do.
Now, it kind of makes sense. We could kind of move into the Worlds of DC now as well, because we have a movie that's on hold as well. It's not going to begin production until next summer. And
yeah,
these correlate kind of pretty well together, if you think about it. I mean, we have I Am Batman going to start production next year because The Batman is a movie that has been coming for quite a while. Now, we don't know who's attached to it here. We don't know who's attached to it there. We don't know who's attached to this film. We don't know if it's going to be Batfleck or if it's going to be Carrot Top Affleck or Carrot Top Batman. We don't know who's doing any of these things. So we'll see.
It does have a director. Matt Reeves is a director.
That right now is what it is. But if the director is if this production halt is going to interfere with Matt Reeves' future movie, they might have actually caused this to, made the production halt in order to. And I don't know.
What movie is he doing?
I don't know. I can take a look and see what Matt Reeves has got coming up as far as movies. But they might have actually done this to create a something that he wasn't going to be able to get out of, and give James Gunn a place to actually be able to.
I don't see Matt Reeves leaving Batman. He seems to be all about it.
Yeah, he's
in the interviews and stuff that I've seen.
Okay, wait a second. This is Matt Reeves, actor. How many Matt Reeves are there? Good Lord. There's 10 of them.
I think he did one of the Planet of the Apes movies, didn't he?
This second, Ape Stars reveal favorite actor. Let me look up Planet of the Apes. Let's see. Matt Reeves, writer, Let Me In.
That's him.
Yeah, that's him. Writer, director. Okay. So, he's got the Batman screenplay in pre-production. Director, the Batman. Producer.
There's 19 upcoming projects listed on IMDb.
This is definitely a cut area.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff coming up. So, Away TV movie pre-production, Tales from the Loop TV series pre-production, the Batman pre-production, the Batman pre-production director. Oh, he was in Cloverfield. Wow.
He produced it.
He also did the voice in it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it says the voice of radio announcer, voice uncredited. Okay.
So anyhow, he's got some stuff coming up, but I don't think he's going to leave.
Yeah, it could very well be. I mean, that's
the word is now is that they're looking to maybe go into pre-production on Batman at the end of the year for a June 19th or later release, or to shoot, not release, possibly to begin shooting in June of next year. But because of this, the Birds of Prey movie and the Flash movie are both going to come before we get the Batman movie.
That's just fantastic. I can't wait.
More than likely, this particular article didn't mention the Joker movie, but we're definitely getting that before the Batman as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the Joker movies is one of those. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the direction that DC is going with their movies. It's like somebody just took a shotgun and just peppered a wall and said, okay, those are all the worlds where it takes place. Now write a story for each. And we're going to release them all in one time. There's no cohesion between almost any of them.
I mean, they have 7 movies that are being bounced around right now. So, I mean, they're all over the place. You got the Batman, you got Flash, you got Birds of Prey. They're talking about a Supergirl movie. They're talking about the Green Lantern movie.
Yeah.
Possibly going to have Tom Cruise tied to it. You got Suicide Squad 2.
Yep.
You have
Aquaman's coming out.
I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about the ones they haven't made yet.
Oh, okay.
The Wonder Woman 84, the Wonder Woman sequel.
Yeah.
And Joker. The Joker movie. That's at least 7 that are in some stage of either being produced, pre-produced, or talked about.
And they're all in different universes, and that's one of the things. The only ones that are going to matter are the Wonder Woman movie.
Shazam and Black Adam, too.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's right. Black Adam's coming out. They was supposed to be the antagonist in the Shazam movie, but it ended up getting his own movie out of the deal. It's going to be one of those things that's going to be extremely odd. I just don't understand how they're going to do it. How do they keep anything straight in the DC offices? I mean, I don't understand it. Do they have something on their desk? It must look like one of those. If you ever imagined one of those walls of that guy that's obsessed with somebody's murder and knows a conspiracy theory is going on, and there's strings going everywhere and across the room and stuff, that has to be the Warner Brothers office while they're doing all these DC movies.
Well, I think they were really smart when they came out and said Worlds of DC, because that enables them to set each of them apart or together, or whatever they want to do. Flash is set to start production in February, directed by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly. They directed Game Night, if you saw Game Night.
Oh, I loved it.
And co-wrote Spider-Man Homecoming.
That's coming up later.
So I liked Spider-Man. I like the humor in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Definitely.
I like the way he could quip, and that's exactly what the Flash should be.
Yep.
So I'm very excited that those guys are attached to the Flash, because there's a very good chance they will be able to get him right as far as attitude and personality and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think they would definitely be able to do it, because they've really captured Peter Parker in this new iteration of the Spider-Man movies. The teenage angst, the whole I cannot shut up no matter how much somebody's kicking my butt. I cannot shut up. I got to keep quipping the entire time. And they've really captured that. And that's exactly how the Flash is as well. In fact, the Flash, I think, is almost DC's mirror image of what Spider-Man is almost.
He's definitely, found one of the founding members of Justice League. So, he's definitely up there. He's not a sidelines kind of guy.
No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that he is his own kind of character, but he is that teen character that I think DC really pushed to reach the teen audiences back in the early days.
And I don't think they showed that enough in Justice League. The way the Flash is when he's in fights and when he's talking and when he's joking and everything, bouncing off of Batman as the straight man, is supposed to be what makes that what it is, that dynamic.
Yeah.
And there was a tiny bit, but not nearly enough in Justice League to feel like that was the Flash that I was looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's definitely something that I really want to see. I want to see exactly how the big screen version of the Flash will differ from the small screen version, and I think this is going to be a good combination. They
got their work cut out for them, because that Flash show has a very, very deep following, and they've done an exceptional job with it. So these guys have big expectations when it comes to a completely different Flash universe to do, because there's no way not to compare it to what we've seen for 5 years on TV.
Yeah, well, we know that somebody's going to have his hand all over the cookie jar on this one, and it's going to be a very different, very dark version of what the Flash TV show is.
Better not be. Doesn't need to be dark.
And none of it needs to be dark. None of it needs to be dark.
The Flash's rogue gallery of villains is so ridiculous. You can't darken up Captain Cold or Mirror Master.
Yeah.
Or, they're so out there that they have to play it straight, but they have to play it straight like a comic book.
But the thing is they've had the ability to turn some of these subpar villains in the TV series into great villains. Captain Cold is one of my favorite guys from The Flash that ended up on
Legends
of Tomorrow. Excuse me. I wanted to say Guardians of Tomorrow. I knew that was wrong as soon as it started coming out of my mouth. But anyway, yeah. But
that was fun because him and Heatwave were both on there, and those were the two guys from Prison Break.
Yeah.
Together again.
Yeah,
so that was fun.
I think that's why their chemistry was so good.
Yeah, it was really good.
But yeah, they and plus it was that whole yin yang thing with them, cold and hot and mellow and over excitable and everything else.
All right, that's enough Flash. Let's move on to the Birds of Prey. What do we got going on there?
Birds of Prey, I am so happy about this. I found this out today, actually, as we were getting ready for this. The Birds of Prey is going to introduce a new villain onto the show that's never been seen in live action prior, but everybody who knows the Batman universe knows this villain. This is the Black Mask is finally going to be on the big screen.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. That character has played a pretty decent role in the Arkham series video games.
Yeah,
he's been in those, and they had a lot of fun with him in there. But like I said, I think it's a perfect choice for Birds of Prey.
Oh, I think so too. I really think that this is a character that is the personification of evil incarnate and kind of exactly what the Joker and Harley Quinn are. It's a guy that kind of went down a psychological rabbit hole and has been stuck down there.
Well, and he's also a mob boss, so he has this whole crime syndicate. And like we were talking about before the show started, the reason why I think this is such a good choice is it's a villain people know, but at the same time, it's a villain that the Birds of Prey should be able to handle on their own. Mm-hmm. It's not such a huge villain, a huge Batman villain that you would need, for lack of a better term, higher tiered superheroes to come in and save the day.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, this him running this crime syndicate in Gotham, because that's where it's going to be set. This gives the Birds of Prey a mission without interfering with whatever the heck Batman's doing on the other side of town. Like, this is their own thing. So I think it's a perfect choice.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, the synopsis for the story is, after splitting up with the Joker, Harley Quinn and 3 other female superheroes, Black Canary, Huntress, and Renee Montoya, who I believe is just a Gotham City police detective. Isn't that what we reported last time, that Renee Montoya is just a police detective? Come together to save the life of a girl, Cassandra Cain, from an evil crime lord. So the crime lord is obviously going to be Black Mask. And I think this might actually begin some... Yeah, I'm not even going to go there. I was going to say kind of a Joker movie kind of tie-in, but I don't even think we're going to go there.
No,
because I'm looking at the crime lord kind of thing.
The synopsis says right at the beginning that Harley split with the Joker.
Yeah.
So this is her doing her own thing after her and Joker break up.
Yeah.
Now, which Joker, I have no idea. I don't know if they're going to tie this to Suicide Squad. I mean, obviously it's
it has to be. It has to be. This has to be the same universe as the Suicide Squad.
It has to be Jared Leto, right?
Yeah. It has to be. There can't be. They can't have the same actress playing the same character and not be in the same universe or the same world.
Unless he's not in it at all.
I think he's going to have to be in it. He's going to have to start
this off. They could start this off by saying this is 6 months to a year after they split up. And that's all we really need to know.
And if the Joker's name doesn't come up at all, then that'd be fine. But we're talking about Harley Quinn here. She's going to bring up Joker's name at some point. So,
yeah.
And plus, Black Canary and Huntress, they're going to be constantly ribbing on her about that to begin with also. So there might be flashback scenes as to how they broke up or what happened. So we'll have to see exactly, it might actually lead up to Joker Face Off. I mean, it could be something like that going on as well.
Yeah. Well, like I said, any Joker is going to be involved in this, it has to be Jared Leto's Joker, just because of the Suicide Squad.
Just because of the silver grill.
Those actors as characters, yeah.
His silver grill.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah,
really.
That's what Jared Leto's Joker is, the silver grill.
Because the most important part of the Joker has always been bling.
Yep, and a tattoo of a smile on his hand instead of having an actual smile.
We're not going down that rabbit hole. Don't get me started.
Now, I have to admit, the one scene that I really did like is when he lays down on the ground with all the guns around him. That was one that made me go, that's the Joker. And then the rest just made me go, wow, this is a fanboy. So
I thought he was a pretty good Joker.
I just did not like his laugh was really good. I think he could have done a lot better if he had had the correct costuming instead of having the Pimp Daddy Justin Bieber Joker.
They definitely wanted to they wanted to go in a different direction than what we saw with Heath Ledger so bad that he's almost the opposite.
Yeah, he's almost unrecognizable. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. But the thing is that the Joker has been the Joker for 70 years. Don't change what works. Just like for 70 years, we don't have a backstory of the Joker. Don't make one up now.
But there's been different iterations of the Joker all along.
Yeah.
Look at how many different looks the Joker has had, not just in the films, but in the comics, in the cartoons. They all have a different stylized version of their Joker.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's very true. I mean, I can look on my wall and my action figures are pretty much all different looking to begin with also. So yeah. I can see where you're going.
So that doesn't bother me. As long as the spirit of the character is there, I think it's kind of cool they play with what he looks like.
Okay. Now I'll go with it. We'll see exactly how this goes by the time we get to the Joker movie, and next time he's obviously going to have to be in Suicide Squad 2 as well.
Now this next one makes no sense to me at all. I don't understand why they're doing this. They've got a Supergirl movie in development. Deadline reported, according to their source, and confirming the information, that Warner Brothers is seeking to develop and produce a new film based on Superman's cousin, Kara Zor-El, a.k.a. Supergirl. Now, someone really needs to tell whoever is thinking this stuff up that they should tune into the CW at least once or twice to realize, I mean, here's another character that they've established on TV very well, I might add. She's a great Supergirl.
All right, let me give you exactly what's most likely going on in the Warner Brothers offices. This will probably be quote for quote. All right, everybody, we're gathered here today because we need to come up with a new idea for a movie. Now, I think, John, you came up with the idea for the Flash movie. That's a great idea, dude. I know it's working on TV. Let's see if we can go ahead and mess that up and put it on the big screen also. Now, what else can we do? Supergirl. Yes, Jan, Supergirl. Good idea. Let's go ahead and put that on the big screen and see how much we can mess that up as well. That's our mission right now, is take everything that works and mess it up on the big screen.
If I was the one making those decisions, which I'm not, however, if I was, I could fix the DC universe on the movies, the worlds of DC. I could fix that universe very easily by keeping all of the shows in continuity with the movies that I'm making.
And get rid of Snyder and bring in Kevin Feige.
Feige. Hell, the dudes that run the Arrowverse shows, let them oversee everything. They haven't missed yet. Although Arrow is getting to the point where we may need to end Arrow, but
All right, you're gonna save that news for the next show with
yeah. I'll save that for
Super James
inside the Arrowverse. But you have these characters that people have lived with for 5, 6, 7 years. I think 7 years.
Yeah, about Arrow. 7 years. Yeah, Arrow I think is on season 7 now.
We spun Flash out of that. We spun Legends of Tomorrow out of Flash. Yep. Supergirl kind of got. Well, I guess it really didn't spin out of anything, but there's been crossover there too. Let them be those characters in the films, and if it's not specifically their movie, why not show ramifications of what happened in the movies tied into those shows?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a continuation. They could take what Marvel tried to do with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep. That's what I was just about to go with also.
And actually accomplish it, because Marvel failed miserably with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, it was because there were too many loopholes to actually be able to do what they wanted to do with it. It was a great idea, great premise, just failed across the board.
The only part of that they got right was right after Winter Soldier, when S.H.I.E.L.D. fell. And then you saw the fallout of that on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was really the only time interacting with the MCU seemed to work out well for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But there's no reason that Warner Brothers couldn't do that with DC in their shows. I mean,
it would make so much sense. I mean, imagine having that ability to create this entire world on both big screen and small screen with the same characters. There's a movie event that's so big that can't be played on TV, and it comes out during the off season. So you play this massive motion picture event on the off season with a character who plays the Flash on the TV show, and creates this huge arc that goes through the next season of the show. It's an awesome idea.
They've already established it. That's the other difference between Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and what I'm talking about doing with the Arrowverse, is that Marvel had to establish Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. once the movies had already been running.
Yeah.
DC doesn't have to do that. They have basically their own channel already to tie this stuff in, not to mention the possibilities they could have with the DC Universe streaming service. So
I have no idea. It's just a weird thing. I think they really bugged themselves up into a bog with their contracts for the shows. And the fact that, there's certain names and certain events that they can't mention in TV shows because that's going to happen in the movies. And I think by doing this, they close themselves off way too much to create this larger world of DC that would be all encompassing. I mean, imagine having, we're going to come up with this later, like Swamp Thing appearing in a Superman movie or a Supergirl movie because they need to fight off, I don't know, the Brain or something.
Well, the big crossover this year that's in November, the Arrowverse crossover that they do every year, they announced that, I can't think of the actor's name, but the actor that plays Superman is going to be in that crossover as Superman. They're introducing Lois Lane, so she'll be coming with Superman.
Good. You're talking about the movie Superman is actually going to be in it.
No, there was a different Superman that was introduced on Supergirl.
Those kind of quick scenes that were on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was just a couple episodes he was in. Tyler something.
Yeah, the Butch Superman guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So him and Lois Lane are going to be in this crossover. That means you've got Superman, Flash, Supergirl, Batwoman, and Green Arrow.
Yeah.
You're one Batman short of a Justice League.
Yeah, and I don't understand it. They have the perfect ability to do this. I don't know what they're doing.
You're one Batman away from the Justice League. Plus, they've already got Martian Manhunter. He's on Supergirl. So there's that character that's in Justice League.
See, I got to get into Supergirl. I got to get my wife off our butt, and we got to get into these things.
Oh,
if Martian Manhunter's in there,
Martian Manhunter is on Supergirl. I guess you don't know that in the beginning. But
no, I don't know that. Damn it!
Spoiler.
You ruined it for me. Now I don't need to watch it.
Trust me, you figure it out way before they reveal it. So, like it. I was, a few episodes, I was like, I think they might be, and then they did it. So
that's fine. I mean, I'm totally cool with it. I mean, Martian Manhunter is one of those guys I'd love to see in live action. I mean, they got the green and everything down, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. When I'm down with it.
When he morphs into the way he looks in the comics, the Green Martian, and not as a human.
Yeah.
Granted, I get that it's TV budgeted CGI, but he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
He looks like Martian Manhunter should look.
It's better than Starfire looks, so that's all I care.
Yeah.
And that's my only problem with Starfire. Sorry. I'm going to take us into this.
You're going to take this next story because this I file under I don't give two poops about. So.
I call myself a Trekkie. I don't care about those people that say it's Trekker. Screw you. Now, Star Trek 4, Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth both left have walked away from the table while Paramount and them are disputing their current salaries. Now, nothing is final yet. Nothing is absolutely final. But both Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth are demanding that they get more money. Now, this is obviously coming from their agents rather than themselves. I'm pretty sure both of them would love just doing the show, doing the movies. But they're both walking off, and it's kind of funny because everybody's like, well, what's the deal with Chris Hemsworth? Why is he walking away from it? Well, if you remember back to the revamped Star Trek, the JJ Star Trek, Chris Hemsworth played Captain Kirk's father, who ended up being killed, which created the divergence of the worlds from the William Shatner Captain Kirk to the Chris Pine Captain Kirk that we know right now. Now, as far as the fourth movie, it looks like it's going to be a time travel movie, which would put Captain Kirk and his father together, fighting some kind of grand person. But since both actors are now a lot higher in status as when they started the Star Trek franchise, the agents are demanding more money for the shows, for the movies, and this is causing an issue.
Was Hemsworth in one of these Star Trek movies?
He was in the first one. He played his father.
Was that before Thor?
Yes. Let me double check this. Do not quote me on this, but I believe it was Hemsworth. But yeah, I think it actually came out prior to
Thor came out in 2011. The original Thor came out in 2011.
Okay, I'm going into his. Okay, see, he's already been titled as George Kirk in the untitled Star Trek sequel. And
was Into Darkness the first one he was in, or was he in the?
No, he was in the very first one as well.
Okay.
Star Trek. He played George Kirk in 2009.
Okay, so that was 2 years before he was Thor.
Yeah, that was 2 years. So, yeah. So, he played George Kirk in it. So, now everybody knows who follows the Trek movies that George Kirk got killed in that first movie. Now, they're kind of trying to figure out exactly why he's up for negotiations for the new one as well. And so, that's why everybody's like, it looks like it's going to be a time travel-y one. Now, if you pay attention to the new Trek movies, they are following the original Trek movies almost point to point. The first one is the new country. It's kind of where they go out in the middle of nowhere, discover the enemy. It follows that one. And that's the one where we get the divergence in the movies between William Shatner and Chris Pine. The second one is The Wrath of Khan. The second one in this one had Khan in it as well. The third one would have been The Search for Spock, where the Enterprise got destroyed. In this one, the Enterprise gets destroyed, and they're stuck on a planet, just like in the other one as well. So it makes sense that the fourth movie is going to be a time travel movie since the Undiscovered Star Trek IV, The Undiscovered Country?
Sure.
I think that's what. I can't remember what the fourth one was called anymore. The Voyage Home. The Voyage Home. The fourth one was called Star Trek The Voyage Home. That's where they go back to 1984 and they save a whale to bring it back to the future. So now something along those lines is going to happen in this one, and I guarantee it's going to be a time travel story.
Chris Pine's stock has definitely gone up since 2009 as well.
Definitely. So. And that's why it's kind of a question why they haven't done any kind of a contract renewal on this one, because of the amount of money both of these actors are really worth now.
Well, and I mean, multi-movie deals is nothing new. I mean, unless they had maybe they were signed on for 3 movies and they have to renegotiate for the 4th. I don't really know, but, it's almost commonplace now to lock an actor in for three or 4 movies.
Yeah, it really is. Normally they lock him in for 3. I know Disney's is 3 movie contracts. But
I mean, the kid that played young Han Solo in the Solo movie, they have him for on a 3 movie deal.
3 movie deal. But that's a Disney thing. They do these contracts for 3 movies. It makes more sense for them. It makes more sense for the actors, because the actors will get money out of it for 3 consecutive movies, and Disney has a chance to make Solo 1 with the option of 2 more movies coming out, or they just use him in 2 different movies. They've been doing that practice since as far back as I can remember. I mean, if you think back in the 70s. They don't.
I mean, it's almost written like an athlete's option, team option in sports. You have a player who signs a contract for 3 years with an option for a 4th. So once you get to the end of 3 years, the team decides whether they want to keep you for the 4th or let you go. So a lot of the contracts are written the same way. We're signing you to be Han Solo with the option of being Solo for X amount of movies if we decide to make more.
Yeah.
So, it's not saying we are agreeing to make 3 Solo movies,
which I hope they do.
We're agreeing that if we do, you're under contract to be Han Solo.
Yeah. I hope they do make them. Great movies. If you haven't seen this, pause this podcast, go watch Solo, and then come back and finish the podcast, or listen to the podcast, watch Solo, then come listen to the podcast again. I don't care. Either way, it works for me.
Don't turn us off. Don't ever tell people to turn us off.
Okay, you're right.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, sorry. Okay, sorry.
All right, well, we can jump into Star Wars then, because I kind of did anyway.
Yeah, let's definitely do this.
Biggest story this week was Kelly Marie Tran finally broke her silence about the online harassment that was pointed towards her after The Last Jedi came out. She shut down her Instagram, Twitter. Like, she basically just disappeared.
Yeah.
After all this happened. There was racist stuff being edited into Wikipedia pages, and it just really horrible stuff.
Yeah, it was bad.
So she jumped off of Instagram in June. There's been a ton of support for her since then. Obviously, the trolls and the nasty people that make all the noise are not the majority of fans. They're just the loudest ones, unfortunately. So, but I mean, she's had an outpouring of support from fans, her castmates, her co-stars in the movie, Ryan Johnson, you name it. Well, this week she published an essay in the New York Times.
Was it New York Times?
Yes.
Okay. That for some reason it was stuck in my head, Vanity Fair, but it makes sense.
Well, everybody picked the story up, but it was initially run in the New York Times. And the essay recounts the effect that the harassment had on her, how she's been dealing with things, a little bit of background about how this isn't the first time she's been harassed for being a woman or Asian or take your pick, whatever else people were getting down on her for. I'm not going to read the whole thing because I don't think it would be nearly as powerful in my voice as it would be if you read it on your own, imagining it in her voice.
Definitely go read it. Definitely go read it. It's a strong, well-written piece.
Yeah, I don't know how long she worked on it, but it's a very good essay. I did want to read just the end of it because I thought it kind of summed everything up, and it was her telling the world that she's not going to take this. She's going to keep going. She's going to be who she is regardless of what the louder voices of the internet say. So the end of the essay says, "You might know me as Kelly. I am the first woman of color to have a leading role in a Star Wars movie. I am the first Asian woman to appear on the cover of Vanity Fair. My real name is Lone, and I am just getting started."
Yeah. Fantastic.
So,
well, all of us at There Is Another, we want to send our biggest love out to, I guess her name is actually Tran Lone now.
Lone Tran.
No, it'd be the other way. In Asia, they say the first name last and family name first. So it'd be Tran Lone.
Oh, I guess you're right.
That's just like Kim Jong-il and Kim Jong-un. Kim would be the last name, and then their first name is second. It's crazy. But anyway. But yeah.
Anyhow, Kelly Marie Tran.
We send our love out to you. Now, hopefully I didn't offend anybody by saying the Asian people, but sorry.
What? I don't think that's offensive.
No,
I
I
mean,
know.
If that's the way they say their names.
Yeah, if I'm wrong, please correct me. Find me on Twitter, Lance Goolsby. You can find it.
We have a website. Go to there'sanotherpodcast.com and tell us exactly how, if you're Asian, you say your name.
Yeah, and go ahead and try and troll me on Twitter. I troll back.
Oh, God. At this point, I would just take people listening enough to troll us. Like, I would take that as a compliment that somebody had enough time to be like, "Hey, you guys suck." I'm like, "Look, somebody listened. It's all right."
Yeah, you got to take your ring up to Mordor and throw that thing in. You know that, right?
Oh.
You got to do that. If somebody...
There's too much walking. There's no way I'm making it to Mordor.
Speaking of Mordor... We got a connection between Mordor, Lost, and J.J. Abrams and Star Wars. Excuse me, man. Go ahead and shoot the guns at my head now. I said Star Trek instead of Star Wars. But Star Wars Episode 9, Dominic Monaghan has joined the cast of Star Wars Episode 9.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. He's obviously worked with J.J. Abrams before. He was on the TV series Lost. He was one of the stars of Lost. Most people will know him from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But great actor. I've liked the stuff that I've seen him in. He actually has a tattoo on his arm of a Yoda quote. Just to tell you how big of a fan this dude is of Star Wars. He's got to be over the moon.
Yeah, it's got to be great.
To actually get a part. He has the luminous beings are we.
Yeah.
Not this on the tattoo on his arm.
That's
I think
fantastic.
It's the luminous beings quote. Anyhow, He's a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about the tattoo, but I think that's really cool. Now, bringing him in is obviously one of the things that JJ does. You can tell JJ Abrams is doing the movie again. He's bringing in his friends. Now, we might be hearing a lot of voices again. We might be hearing Kevin Smith coming in again as a stormtrooper. We might be. There were a lot of different things. A lot of people were stormtroopers, including. In The Force Awakens, the stormtrooper that Rey actually mind controls in the First Order in Starbase and Starkiller Base was actually
Daniel Craig.
From James Bond, yeah. So there's a lot of people that you don't see. In fact, this last one, The Last Jedi, had both the princes of England, but their scene was cut from the movie. So,
real quick, I have an update on something that we talked about earlier when we were talking about cast members. Not this show, that one of the earlier shows.
Yeah.
Might even been the first one. We talked about Richard E. Grant being cast. For Episode 9, and it was speculated all over the place that he was playing Thrawn. He has come out and said 100% for sure he is not playing Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Well, he did not say it that way. One of the guests at the con where he was at came up and asked if he was going to be playing Thrawn in the movie. His quote was, "That character you just named is not the character I'm going to be playing." He did not say the character's name by name.
Okay, here, I've got the quote. "I'm not playing the Star Wars character you just mentioned."
There you go.
Grant tells Radio Times when he must have been doing an interview.
Yeah, it was an interview. Yeah, I think it was a call-in guest.
When asked how he's preparing for the role of Thrawn, which was slick. That was a really smooth way. Like, they asked him, "How are you preparing for the role of Thrawn?" without just out and out saying, "Hey, are you playing Thrawn?" They kind of laced it into. So good on them. That was clever. He didn't take slick. The bait, but that was clever. he said, "I'm not allowed to tell you anything, otherwise I would be fired. It's a complete lockdown on any information whatsoever." So he's not playing Thrawn.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It would be great seeing Thrawn on the screen, but I think we are going to be getting Thrawn in this in a new television series shortly.
Are you talking about Resistance or the live action?
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be one of those. I think they're going to bring him back in probably one of the live action shows or an animated series, just like they're going to be bringing back Ezra, but I don't know how they're going to be doing any of this. If it's going to be its own movie series, or if it's going to be a television series or a cartoon series, or something that's going to happen on the new Disney streaming media. I don't know.
Well, we got a premiere date and a trailer for the new Resistance animated show. It will premiere here in the States on October 13th, which I believe is the same date as overseas, right?
Yeah,
it had Germany was the 13th of October as well.
Yeah, it was the same day, which is really, really surprising for me. Normally we're a week behind, but if they're going to be doing it all at once.
So you're going to get to see it 6 hours before I do.
Ha ha. Hey, give me one thing before you guys.
Right. Yeah. Well, there it is. Unless they decide to play it at the same time. But anyhow, we also found out due to some clever detective work, that the series is set 6 months prior to the events of The Force Awakens. So that's where Resistance will fit into the timeline. These guys dug into the code of StarWars.com and found that quoted in there.
Wow.
But marked out. So, it was in there for when they announce it, but it was marked out as not being shown yet, and they found it, and I'm like, wow. That's a whole nother level of trying to.
That's a whole nother level of geekdom, is what that is. That's oh man.
Good on them. They broke the story. 6 months after the events of The Force Awakens, that doesn't make me look forward to the show any more than I was or wasn't already. We've got so much going on in this sequel era.
Yeah.
You know, John Favreau's TV show that he's doing for the Disney streaming service is rumored to be set on Mandalore after the fall of the Empire. So we've got that set between trilogies, if that's the case. You know, there's a lot of room there. There's 30 years between the end of Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. We don't have to set everything with
so close to any of one of the movies.
Disney. Yeah. I mean, I get they're pushing their characters from their trilogy. As I sit here looking around, there's 5 different Kylo Ren figures. That's like, seriously, do we need 5?
And that's just of the 6-inch Black Series. And that's right. What you mean.
I'm not counting the
3 3/4.
I don't know how many of those they've done. Probably double that.
I don't know. That's why I couldn't collect them all. It's just I got my specific ones. I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 blacks.
I'm looking at least 5 different six different Rays. You know. Oh shit! There's a Kylo I forgot about. Add one more to him. Oh, he's up there.
But I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to close the gaps that happen between the movies to help explain certain things a little bit better. Like see the resistance build up prior to episode 4. See what happens that brings the First Order and what happens and why the First Order is so feared and why nobody believes that the First Order is the big enemy that they think it is. Which
read the Poe Dameron comic. They've done a ton of stuff like that in the Poe Dameron Marvel ongoing series.
Yeah, and they really covered this a lot in the Princess Leia Bloodline book as well, where they talk about how the First Order really started as just being financed by all these gangs all around the galaxy, and spice trade and everything else, but nobody knew about this force that ended up being a lot bigger than what they expected it to be.
Which makes me wonder if Darth Maul had a hand in the creation of this.
It could be. I mean, you even see it.
He was running the crime syndicates. He was, the spice smuggling and all that was him.
Yeah, and so, I just read the book Lost Stars, which is a teen Star Wars book that leads up to
leads up to Force Awakens.
Well, it goes through all episode 4, 5, and 6. It all happens during that course of the year. And then it lets off right at the end of Return of the Jedi. But at the very end of the book, you see they talk.
Spoilers.
Sorry. Sorry, spoilers. Thank you. Send off the spoilers alarm. But what happens is that at the end of the book, you're sitting there, and one of the commanders of a Imperial Star Destroyer is sitting on the dock and the bridge of the Star Destroyer, and he's kind of voicing over how it, they've regrouped. They don't explain where they regrouped, but they've regrouped, and so that's and they're making stronger, better stormtroopers and everything else. So it kind of leads up to it as well. But anyway,
more gooder troopers.
I speak as good English.
More gooder troopers.
Mr. English, very good. Mr. English, very, very good.
No.
Oh, got a cut point going on here.
Series go.
Just a second. I got to pause. I don't know. You barking a bunch.
Yeah. Bristol? I don't know what she's barking at. They're working on stuff next door.
Oh.
Because that house sold. So every time there's like car doors or dump trucks or whatever they're doing over there. It just makes her crazy.
Oh, trust me, I know. You've seen the videos. Anyway, where were we?
I was getting ready to talk about Leia being confirmed to be in Resistance.
Yeah, actually, that's where I wanted to go as well. Yeah.
So I can pick that up right from there.
All right, yeah, go ahead. I got her IMDb up, so I can talk about that.
Okay. One last thing before we get off of Star Wars, I wanted to talk about a casting update for the Resistance animated series. It has been confirmed that Leia, Princess Leia, General Leia, I guess General Leia at this point.
General Leia at this point, yep.
Has been confirmed that she's going to be in the series. She will be voiced by Rachel Butera.
Yeah.
Who I was not familiar with before I looked her up on IMDb. She's done a ton of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
A very prolific voice actor from what I saw on IMDb.
A lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where she did Krang Prime. She did Meryl Streep in Family Guy. So she's definitely got the voice. You know, with that kind of coughing, I'd think you were in a different state.
You may want to say that IMDb shit over again because I'm good now.
What are you two doing? I got cats going ape shit out there. You hear him? Rudy! Rudy! I've got cats going crazy by me, people. Sorry about that. But yeah, she's done the voice of Meryl Streep in the Family Guy TV series. So she has the voice to be able to do Carrie Fisher. So I think she has the talent and the ability to do it. And written right there on her filming credits is Star Wars Resistance, General Leia Organa. And the very first episode is called The Recruit, where she plays a voice in it. So she will be in the very first episode.
Cool.
So
that is all the Star Wars we've got. Let's talk a little bit about the rest of the TV news.
All right, so we can go into Walking Dead Season 9. Obviously, there is another large elephant in the room on this one. Andrew Link. Yeah, a couple
elephants in the room on this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go ahead, and then I'll.
All right. Andrew Lincoln is leaving the show after this coming season, Season 9. So there will no longer be a Rick in The Walking Dead, and Maggie will be walking off as well. So we are losing two big characters. Now, I saw on the news this week that some of the actors are really shocked by the way that he's leaving the show, which kind of makes me wonder.
Shit. Hold on a second. There's a CNN alert popped up on my phone, and it doesn't sound good at all. It's a mass shooting in Florida.
Uh-oh.
Mass shooting at the Madden video game tournament in Jacksonville. Jesus.
Oh, no. Jacksonville landing in Florida. 32 minutes ago. Massive fatalities.
Yeah. It just came across my phone.
Multiple fatalities at the scene, many transported. We can't stress enough to stay away, many blocks away. Complexity Gaming, a professional gaming team that had a
They obviously don't have... They must not have the shooter locked down yet if they're telling everybody to stay away still.
No, they must not. They must not have anything locked down. Now, they're reporting this right here. Complexity Gaming, a professional gaming team that had a player participating in the event at the GLHF Game Bar, said on Twitter that There appears to have been a shooting at the event. Complexity said that the participants, Grini Gyorka, was grazed in the hand but was away from the scene and safe. Gyorka tweeted that he was hit in the thumb when the tournament got shot up. Worst day of my life, he said. I will never take anything for granted ever again. Life can be cut short in a second. The Jacksonville Landing is an entertainment complex along the St. Johns River. The area includes a waterfront, restaurants, and open indoor shopping mall. The shooting took place less than 2 days after a gunfire at a high school football game a few miles away left one person dead and 2 wounded.
NPR is reporting multiple fatalities.
Yeah, they got multiple here as well. That's all it says.
Didn't mean to break into the show with this, but
horrible news.
We can't.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of thing that we're here for. This is geek culture. This is our culture. This is everybody we know that is out there. This is horrible news. This is up to the minute as we're recording this right now, and we can only, from our position where we're at, send out all our love and hope and wishes to everybody that is affected by this. This is absolutely horrible.
Yeah, I didn't mean to bring us all down, but when I saw it, I looked over at my phone when the alert went off, and man.
Yeah, this
tweet says one suspect is dead at the scene, so it may have been multiple shooters. I haven't seen. At least one suspect is dead. Searches are being conducted.
I got a video here. Hold on. Let me play this.
This is Carolyn Tyler. Breaking news here at the ABC7 newsroom. Authorities in Jacksonville, Florida, say that they are on the scene of a mass shooting at an outdoor entertainment complex in Jacksonville. The Jacksonville sheriff is warning people to stay away, far away.
I'm not buffering very well here. It shows it.
Yeah,
buffering.
This one says 4 dead, 7 injured.
Oh Lord.
As of like 2 minutes ago. So
it says here investigators are working to determine if there's a second suspect on the loose.
Yeah, that's the way that read when it said one suspect was dead. It sounded like they thought there might be another one.
Yeah. So it looks like they're looking to see if there is a second one or other ones, and yeah. So this is just
just a bunch of dudes getting together wanting to play a video game tournament.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's just like
this crap happens.
It's like in Colorado, everybody getting together to watch the Batman movie, and a guy coming in and shooting up the whole theater. It's just stupidity, man. It's just really bad. Yeah.
All right.
I don't even know if we can continue with the show anymore.
Well, we can keep going. I just wanted to say that we were thinking about everybody down there. Like I said, if I hadn't looked over at my phone when it lit up, I wouldn't have even stopped the show to say anything. But
no, I think it's well worth it. Well, yeah, like I said, from myself, Kevin, and James, who's stuck in traffic on the road right now. Hi, James.
Somewhere right now.
Our heart and sympathy and everything, our well wishes go out to everybody that's down there in Florida right now that's affected by this and by the shootings earlier this week. And we're praying for every single one of you in whatever language and religion we speak. So our thoughts and our hopes and our prayers are with you all.
Well said, sir.
All right, we were on Walking Dead.
Where were we even at?
Walking Dead. Yeah, so basically, season 9 is going to be.
Oh, okay. So
the ending
Andrew
of
Lincoln and Lauren Cohen are both leaving. before the end of season 9. It sounded, the way it read to me was they were in the first half of the season and not the second.
Yeah, and I think it's already filmed because a couple posts, a couple things have gone on. People are saying they're really shocked by actors on the show, or said they're really upset by the way that the characters were taken out. Which, not upset like mad about it, but upset. It was, I guess it's a bad way that they're gone.
Well, when Lauren Cohen was doing an interview, she said something about Maggie's future being open-ended. So
I think a lot of people are going to migrate over to the other team.
Like she's dying to me.
No, I think it's Lincoln's. I think it's Andrew Lincoln. I think Rick is going to be leaving the show for good. I don't think there's going to be any way for him to have a future.
It sounded like both of them wanted to go.
Yeah,
both
but I
of
think
them wanted to do other things.
I don't know what there is going to be for him. I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, it was the same thing when they killed off Carl. The kid that played Carl wanted to do other things.
Yeah, but that's
I just how do you have a Walking Dead without Carl, without Rick, and without Maggie?
I really don't know. And that's one of the big things, because it was the killing of Carl that actually began Andrew Lincoln wanting to leave the show to begin with. Because he said that his character has no point on being on the show, but wait a second, he has a baby daughter on the show as well. So now it's going to be a question.
Which he doesn't have in the comics.
Yeah. And so I don't...
And we should point out all the characters we just mentioned, aside from the baby, are still alive in the comic books.
Yeah.
So the only option they have was with these two leaving, with Rick and with Maggie leaving, is they abandon trying to follow the comics altogether.
Yeah, just I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm sure they got a plan.
They're going to put Norman Reedus front and center.
Yeah, I know Eastman. Eastman has a plan. He's, watching the show. Kirkman, yeah, excuse me. Wrong comic creator, man. Anyway, Kirkman definitely has a plan in place. He's really the driving force behind how these seasons are running. So I know he's got something already in place, and we can look forward to some really good seasons coming up. We just got to stick through this year and get past it, and we will be able to.
I don't know. I think this is the swan song.
You think so? No, it might be the beginning. I think there will be one more season after this. We'll see what happens. They're going to have to really buckle up and pull their big boy britches on at this point to really push past this.
They jumped the shark when Carl died.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of the end.
Well, it definitely was for Lincoln, and with Lincoln leaving, I mean, Laurie Cohen could leave the show, not a problem. Maggie has some big things that seemed to be working on this last season, then they just kind of wrote it off. With her taking over Hilltop,
and she's running the Hilltop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've had a really good ability to really put her front and center. But they seem to have squandered that, if I might be able to say it that way, because it seemed like they moved her character down a notch, even though they had something good planned, and then they wanted to bring it back for next season. So they had that post-credits scene right at the end of the last episode where she's talking with Daryl and the other one's about bringing Rick down.
Yeah. There's definitely some tension there. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Now, on the flip side of that is Fear the Walking Dead. The second half of their season 4 just started on the 12th of August. This last season and this season, I've enjoyed a ton.
I'm going to have to get into this.
The show has, new showrunners, new producers. They've really turned Fear around. They got renewed for a 5th season, so they're going to be on at least for one more season. The characters they've introduced in these last 2 seasons, especially this season, are great. They had Morgan come over from Walking Dead to Fear, which was cool. He was more a catalyst to introduce a lot of these other characters than anything. But it was cool seeing him interact with them. And like I said, I think one of the reasons I like this show so much is I don't have any preconceived notions on what it should be. Like, I haven't read 180 some issues of comic books about these characters. This is totally its own thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's its own standalone, which I think was a really big move for them to do, and it seems to be working. I got to get back into it myself. We watched the first 4 or 5 episodes of the first season, then we kind of gave up. And I think we should... Oh, pardon me. I think we should have just pushed and actually kept watching. And I think we would have been just like you and in love, because it's the off-season Walking Dead. So you got the main season, which is Walking Dead, and then off-season starts Fear the Walking Dead. And they seem to be running. They're running side by side right now, as far as timeline. Morgan leaves Walking Dead and goes right into Fear the Walking Dead.
Yes, so we're in the same time period now.
Yeah,
which is crazy because we started Fear
at the
when
beginning.
The plague broke out.
Yeah,
right. So they've done a massive time jump on Fear, but yeah, this season 4, top notch. It's been great since the word go. Season 4 has. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. They definitely got some people in place running and writing the show that are excited about working and on it and have some great ideas for where they want it to go. So that ends that discussion.
Now, do we want to go into the Ruby Rose thing really quick?
No, we're gonna. James and I are gonna save that for into the Arrowverse. I really want to get his take on things.
Yeah, definitely.
When it comes to that, so
definitely, and I think you guys are more authorized to actually talk and really dissect all that more than I am, because I'm very, very weakly watched on all that stuff, and you guys are worse than comic nerds on Wednesday morning.
We're all about those. So, we're messaging each other while they're on, and it's ridiculous. So,
I wish I could do that, but living 5,000 miles away. But yeah, we can go into Daredevil. Season 3 is going to be on Netflix before the year's out. I'm really excited for that.
That was a surprise. We didn't think we were getting Daredevil.
Your house is haunted, my friend.
There's a massive amount of plastic people committing suicide off the shelf right now. Like, they just couldn't take it anymore.
The First Order is taking
straight off. Yeah, it's a massacre down here. Looks like a car wreck.
Somebody's taking
stormtrooper car wreck.
Somebody's taking pot shots up there. It's like Toy Story. What is that? Small soldier. So one of them just reached over and shot him in the head.
Yeah, I don't know. Most of the First Order just got wiped out. All right, so I'll pick them up later. We'll clean that mess up later. I'm right next to the shelf, and I don't know why these guys keep falling over, but that was some cult mass suicide.
That was weird. We got off Star Trek, and they're like, "Well, I'm done."
Yeah, maybe that was it. They heard us talking about Star Trek, and they're like, "I can't," and just dove.
But anyway, let's see how many more commit suicide now. I won't talk Star Trek. Let's keep on.
The rest of them realized what happened, and they're like, "No, we're not going."
Oh man, I see.
What the hell are we talking about? Daredevil?
Yeah, we were on Daredevil season 3. But yeah, it's going to be out. It's one of those kind of surprises. Yeah, everybody didn't expect it to be coming out so soon this year. Normally, the Daredevil series, I think, gets dropped at the beginning of each year.
It's been all over the place, but we're going to get Daredevil before the end of the year. We're getting Jessica Jones and Luke Cage have had their. Well, we haven't seen. Have we seen? No, Luke. We've seen season 1 and 2 of Luke Cage.
Yeah. Yeah. I think season 2 just
Jessica Jones's second season come out.
I think it's been announced. I think I saw the announcement. I can't remember if it's the announcement of it coming or being dropped. It hasn't aired yet, though, right? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and then it's Punisher season 2. I don't know when that's dropping. Either.
Oh, yeah, that one I know is says we already know the Punisher season 2 and Daredevil season 3 are coming along soon enough, but no word until now as of when. In a surprising turn, it now appears as though Daredevil season 3 will be hitting Netflix sometime in 2018. Not as expected. We were expecting it in, the first part of 2019.
2019, so. Yeah.
Jessica Jones. Yeah, Jessica Jones has had 2 seasons.
Okay, so then it must have been
wasn't nearly as good as the first season.
I don't know.
And we've just seen trailers recently for season 2 of Iron Fist that looks way better than the first season.
Yeah, I think they really took everybody's thoughts on the first season, which I really didn't have too much of an issue with.
I didn't either. I liked it, but it
was different. It was different.
I understood the arguments, but it wasn't enough to ruin it for me.
No, not at all.
I would have liked, more punching in the face and less moping around.
Yeah, it was a very dry drama action series.
And the bits of Luke Cage season 2 that Iron Fist was in was awesome when the two of them were fighting together. He shows up in season 2 of, oh shit, spoilers. He shows
Where's that alarm?
He shows up in season 2 of Luke Cage, and it's the beginning of the hint that you're seeing that they took some of the criticism actually to heart.
Yeah.
Because the two of them fighting not each other but together was so much fun to watch. So I don't know if Luke Cage is going to show up in.
But Defenders did so horribly.
Huh?
But Defenders did so horribly.
Yeah, they kind of set up Heroes for Hire storyline.
Yeah.
With Luke Cage and Iron Fist, so I'm expecting to see at least a little bit of Luke Cage in Iron Fist season 2.
They could do it, that whole buddy cop lethal weapon thing going between the two.
Yeah, and they've done that in the comics. That's Heroes for Hire. So there's a lot of different things they can do. These shows have been good. It's just they had the problem I have with season 2 of Jessica Jones. Now that I remember that they had one, that's how forgettable that season was. The villain in season 1 of Jessica Jones, the Purple Man,
the Mind Wiper guy, I can't remember.
David Tennant played him.
Well, yeah, I just Doctor Who, but he wipes people's memories and makes them do his bidding, kind of thing.
But he was amazing.
Well, David
Jessica
Tennant
Jones
is
season 1. And season 2 kind of felt like it was missing a big threat. You know what I mean? Like not the same type of consequences that David Tennant's character brought to season 1.
And that's the problem when you get such a huge character like that. You got to either hit that same note or ramp it up for the next one. And when you bring somebody big like David Tennant in, there's nothing David Tennant has never done that isn't completely memorable. From I can't even remember that Longmire was the TV show he was in.
It's completely memorable. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the show, but it was called Longmire. Sorry. And then Doctor Who, and then obviously this as well. He is an extremely memorable actor.
He voiced a character in the Clone Wars.
See, I didn't see that. I didn't know that either.
It was in the Younglings arc. Remember when they all go looking for
the
crystals for the lightsaber?
Yeah.
The droid that's on the ship that is like putting their lightsabers together.
The one that's teaching them how to build it and saying, "Don't hook that up or turn it on because it'll explode."
That's David Tennant.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, a Clone Wars episode that I know. Yay me!
I think he was in the remake of Fright Night too.
I can't remember.
He played the vampire. He was awesome in that.
No. The vampire was Colin Farrell.
Am I thinking of the wrong movie altogether? Maybe I am.
Fright Night should have been Colin Farrell was the bad guy. Fright Night 2011. Okay, yeah, Colin Farrell. But David Tennant was Peter Vincent in it. He was the vampire hunter.
Oh, he was he was like the dark arts guy that the kids go to. That's right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he was really good in that. And as far as a remake, I mean, I love the original, but as far as all of these movies that gets remade, I enjoyed that one. I thought it was pretty good.
I love the first one, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of that old school thing. Maybe that's one thing you and I need to. Oh wow, it was Anton Yelchin. Oh, rest in peace, brother. But anyway, maybe that's one thing you and I should do. We should make another spin-off podcast about watching these old movies and seeing if they hold up. But anyway, and then talking about remakes of them, The Last Starfighter, they're probably doing a remake of that right now as well. Did you hear about that?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's going to do it for this week's show.
Yeah.
Be sure to check out our website. There is another podcast.com for Lance and myself. Have a good week and stay strong, Jacksonville. Talk to you later.